Got it.
Hi, loves. Welcome to a new episode of AW Confidential. A lot of you guys asked me for another round of 20 questions, and I think this is a good one to deliver to you. Ladies, pay attention. Um, we often get together, all the girls get together, and we dish about love, about dating and relationships, and we complain about our partners. And I know for me, and I'm not the only one, a lot of us tend to wonder what men are thinking. And obviously all men are different, but it's nice to get different a different perspective from a man. And today I have my friend Vic, who agreed to be on the hot seat. And just let me ask him some questions. Hi, Vic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
So far, so good. I haven't asked you anything yet.
Complaints are at a bare minimum.
So I'm gonna jump right into it. I think one of the things that I have to say is, men tend to get a bad rap. Not all men are dogs. I've met some really good men, some really smart men, respectful men. So I have to give them, kudos because there are a lot of good men out there. Um, so question for you, being that I just said men tend to get a bad rap, um, what in your opinion is the biggest misconception that we as women generally get wrong about men?
Um, well, that men just look at women as a piece of meat.
Okay, that's partly true though. Okay, okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I could elaborate.
Elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, I mean, there's multiple ways to look at every situation, and for one, from a biological perspective, if there was a bunch of women on Earth and only one man, and the duty was to make more human beings, like the man could go ahead and get multiple women pregnant per day. And that's why a man tends to be a little bit more promiscuous by nature. Whereas if it was the other way around and it was all, one woman and multiple men, she would have no choice but to be very particular on who she slept with or, took as a partner because she's got like to stay committed for 9 months in order to have like one baby, or maybe two at best. So, that's just a biological perspective. Um,
Mhm.
but I think that people don't really think of that, and women, kind of think with their emotions more so than with like, just I don't know if logic is the right way to use, but like from my experience, I don't look at anybody and say, "Gee, I'm just so horny. I just want to have sex with this person." Say whatever I can to take advantage of them so that I could just get what I want because, you know, a lot of the times, like whether it's if it's just that, it's like there's a lot more effort that goes into even just doing that like a guy wouldn't want to involve himself in. Like it's not, where like and you could just go in the bathroom or in the bedroom and masturbate and be done with it. So it's like it's more than, oh man, I'm just horny. I want to use this girl for some sex. I mean, if that's the case, like,
Which some
everybody would,
guys do, by the way.
yeah, they could be like John Wayne and just be like, you know, he was asked like, why do you see prostitutes? You're John Wayne, and he's like, I don't pay him to come, I pay him to leave.
Oh, I've never heard that one before. Ouch. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think guys are like this. You know what I mean? I'm not like this. Like I'm always hopeful for the best. If I'm gonna like meet with a woman, it's like I'm attracted to somebody. Yes, I'm turned on. I might be horny, and the urge to have sex is there. But that's not why I would be involved in the first place. I'm hopeful there's going to be something special or something that holds me there. But sometimes
Okay.
the attraction is so intense, that like you might forego seeing that you're not really clicking on numerous levels. You're just thinking so sexually. And then after the fact, you're like, well, now that I've had the orgasm, I realize that we don't really click the way I was thinking we may have clicked. But that's not forced. That's just kind of like, it just is what it is.
So, it's just nature takes over, you're saying?
I think it's nature that takes over. And I think, like, everybody wants that special somebody and that soulmate, but that's not something you can force. That just happens naturally.
It's interesting
So,
you said soulmate. A lot of guys don't believe a lot of and I'm generalizing, but guys don't usually use that expression soulmate. I don't even know if anyone believes in it anymore. Some people
I
might.
look at like energy, like it doesn't, you could use that. I mean, I guess that's a generalized term, but I mean, I've been around people where I could sit in like a bus stop next to somebody and have some kind of conversation. And in like 5 minutes, I walk away and I'm like, wow, that's like a family member. Like there's something so special about that little interaction for 5 minutes that felt like home. And there's people that are friends with me that I've had for like 10 years where if I'm in a room with them for more than 15 minutes at a time, I'm like, I got to get away from this person. They're just already irritating me. So, but for some reason, we're in each other's lives and we're friends for whatever reason. But some people's energy just goes really well and, with others' energy. And like, I think that that's what you're really looking for in a relationship. And that's what a guy is looking for. Guy's
Interesting.
looking for that to keep him. He wants a best friend, somebody he could laugh with, and somebody that feels like home, and not somebody that he's got to. I hate to say it like this, but like, like a guy doesn't want to feel like he's got to babysit the relationship. It's got to just feel like you guys are like partners in crime, and like
Mm.
you're both like, I guess, like
I always the way I always say it is I want to ride or die. That's what I want. Like I want someone who is my partner in crime and
the
kind of
safest say it is like someone who just gets you, whether
yeah.
like you're quiet, like, oh, what's wrong? It's like you're just quiet, like, you just know that you're each other's boo, and like whatever the case is, there's no need to distrust what's going on. It's just
It's a
that's how it is that day.
it's like a comfortable silence. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. So, brains or beauty, what's more attractive?
um I'm gonna have to say beauty, but not but no, I mean, I feel like it's got to be both. It can't be one or the other. Like, I feel like as a man, the first and foremost thing that we see is beauty because we're visual creatures. So it's like, we're not attracted to brains, otherwise we'd be zombies.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But no, but for real though, like it is really attractive when you meet someone that, you know has brains. And I think a lot of women do have brains, but there's a lot of women who are too shy to just show that they have brains. So,
Mm.
because I mean, look, it's like we're a
No,
composition
it's
of like 18 trillion cells. Like every woman's got a brain, but like maybe not every woman like has the confidence to just say and be a free thinker and say what the hell she wants to say whenever she wants to say it. And I think that that's really attractive. Somebody who just says whatever they want, whether it's smart or not smart, but doesn't have that like hold back because of what the guy might think of them.
okay. I like that.
We,
Well,
we
that's also confidence, right?
yeah, I like when a girl's ballsy and says what she wants. Like I'm never really done well or been attracted to pushovers. I would rather somebody tell it like it is than somebody who's just okay, whatever, you know,
Okay.
the okay,
I
whatever, kind of just like, I can't tell like if she's into me or not into me or has my
well,
best interest or not.
but I think that goes both ways because and
Well,
of
yeah,
course, again, I'm not gonna generalize, but I think I'd rather be with someone who sort of, stands on his own and doesn't always do everything I tell him, because I've seen that before. That does not work for me. I
right.
just can't. So I do get that. Um, okay, age-old question. Do all men cheat?
No, no,
Have you
no,
cheated?
no, I haven't cheated because I've never been in actual. Well, let me explain. So I was I haven't been in a relationship since I'm 40 now. So last time I was actually in a real relationship was probably when I was like 24, or no, like 22. And then like I had like I thought that I met my soulmate like 3 year or 4 years ago, and that was only like a glimpse of what it could possibly be like. It turned out to be. So it was like a tasteful glimpse of what I thought it would be. So it was like a month or two we were like exclusive, but then it was just like this isn't the person for me. The realization kind of broke through, and like kind of kept it real, and just things went the way they went. But I didn't cheat. And when I was in relationships when I was younger, it's like I felt like I was so into this girl that like a tribe of like a horde of Victoria's Secret models could have walked up to me and said, "Hey, let's go get nasty in the bushes," and I would have said, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm in love. I like my woman.
What?
I don't need it. You know." So I wouldn't have cheated on her just because I was so into her, and it was like she kind of like was just somebody that I just laughed with. I had fun with. I found her like incredibly attractive. So like I had no desire in me to cheat. And I feel like this is what happens when you find the right person for you. When like
Mm,
locate the right person, there's no need to find anything else. And I think that that's why it's important for people to like sort of have like meaningless fun interactions with others, because like you see that it doesn't really hold the weight that you may think it does. So it's like, I've had enough like meaningless like sexual and fun experiences where when I do meet the person of my dreams, you know, I'm not going to pass that up to go have like 20 minutes of
fling.
sex with somebody. It's like big deal. Like that'll happen, and it'll be like, well, why did I do that? I could have done without that. you know so I could see if you were somebody who never had sex with anybody, and then you meet somebody, you start dating them, and you're like, gee, I wonder what it's like to have sex with somebody else. I could see how like the urge to maybe want to explore, because
Curiosity.
yeah. And sometimes for a lot of guys, having like strange sex with somebody else is like taking a different route to work. It's not so much like, oh, I'm just this dog and I just don't love my woman and I want to cheat on her because she's no good to me. It's just like curiosity. It's not as deep as of a thing like that women might make it or think it out to be because they're emotionally driven. It's kind of just like, I want to walk a different route to work, like just for a day. That's how simple it is for like a guy. You know what I mean?
Wow. So when we talk about cheating, like now you have emotional cheating and physical cheating.
I think it's really messed up if a guy is like in a relationship with somebody and then starts another relationship with somebody else. That's just somebody who's delusional.
So if the tables were turned, which is worse for you? For me, it's an emotion. If you cheat on me emotionally, I mean, if you cheat on me physically, that's hard for me to even, and it's happened to me. So I can't I can't get past it. Everyone's different, but I think the emotional cheating is a lot worse because you're in a relationship, like emotionally vested, and it's to me that's a huge offense.
Well, I mean, I feel like, I mean, I guess it's hard to say. I feel like if I was,
Which one
here's
would you be more
hard
likely
for,
to forgive?
it's hard for me to answer this because I wouldn't find myself in any relationship unless if it's the one. And I have to feel,
What?
I feel like I'm experienced enough now with like wisdom and like spirituality and just like dating and things where I honestly would not like, I'm comfortable being single and I would not trade like the only way I'm going to settle, how can I say this? The only way that I would find myself in a relationship with another person, like another woman, would be if she's someone that the connection that we have is so good that after we've met, I couldn't picture my life without her in it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just somebody that's in my way, if that makes sense. That I want to deal with. I don't want to even deal with the like the drama and access baggage, and I don't even want to deal with it because I don't want to hurt their feelings, not because of me. I just don't want to hurt their feelings by giving them all this. And you know what's funny? I'm not going to take it, but I'm getting FaceTimed by the person who I thought was my soulmate as we're talking.
You, you've got to be kidding me.
No, no.
Maybe that's a sign.
Uh, maybe.
So, one of the things that I've spoken about on the show is, red flags. Like when I was younger, I didn't know what my red flags were. I just didn't pay attention, and literally I would green flag every guy if I liked him. It's like, okay, it would like things would go over my head. So I've asked other girls, like, what are your red flags? Now I know what they are for me. What are
Right.
like two major red flags for you in a partner, in a relationship, that you're like, okay, I have to run the other way?
Major red flags would be uh, somebody that's too busy,
What?
somebody that's too busy.
No. Oh,
Look,
because when you really want to make something work, you make the time.
yeah, and I mean, a lot goes back to like my spiritual like viewpoint, and it's like I'm I'm a very go with the flow, like all is well type. You know, that doesn't mean I'm complacent, but that also doesn't mean I'm gonna I realize that, you know, and being a person that's from New York, it's like I see like so many people are into having, you know, different luxuries and different clothes and cars and houses and nice things and all this. And it's like these things only are important if you have somebody to share them with. Otherwise, they're just useless. So it's
Mm,
like I wouldn't, I would feel like if I was with somebody who was so devoted to working or creating something because of their goals that they had no present moment time to share with somebody else to build something substantial, that like they're just wasting their time going after something that doesn't really ever bring any true happiness. And those are the people who only realize it when they're like
too
70 or
late.
80. So
Wow.
it's like I want somebody that I want somebody that could like, maybe run away on like a 3 month road trip and, go like to Utah and Colorado and mountain hiking and doing different things. And I don't want somebody who's like, oh, sorry, I got this meeting and I got to do this, and then I got this company dinner, and then I got to go here, and then there's a table reservation at this club because it's a certain situation I'm working. It's like at that point I'm just like, you know, like it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work for me. Like,
Okay. And the other
so
red flag?
who work too much are a red flag, and Um, the other red flag, I guess, would be, you know, I'd imagine somebody who's like a drug addict, I guess, like maybe an addict.
Oh, toxic. Yeah, that's the yeah, that's the I guess the extreme for sure.
But even though that's a red flag, I feel like if there was some kind of feeling that I had for the person and I knew that they were somebody substantial to me, like I feel like I'd be able to turn that red flag around. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just be like, oh, you're a cigarette smoker. I won't talk to you, even though you're the only thing I can think about. Like, you know what I mean? Like like it would be initially a red flag, but it's something that I feel like, you know, depending on circumstances and I feel like I have pretty good judge of character, and I wouldn't be able to be swindled, that easily. So it's like, I think that I could like I would have to it'd be like on a case to case basis, I'd have to say.
You have you have a big heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, talking about red flags, girls talk a lot, guys talk a lot. What's the worst, in your opinion, what's the worst advice you've ever heard a female give another female about men?
I mean, it's usually like I feel like it's like I can't say I've heard women give other women advice, like, but I could say that like I've seen like situations where like I've met somebody and I felt like we were vibing. Maybe we were like met at a club or we met at the bar, which I don't really even do anymore, but like somewhere met out and then there's that girl, and it's like clearly we're having some kind of a chemical like driven like chemistry, like the vibe is good, we're talking, she's laughing, I'm laughing, like it's like the chemistry is good, and then there's this one like, you know like I call her, I say that she's from WPD, which is whack personality disorder, and she's the one that comes in and she's like, come on, let's go, no, let's go, and pulls them away, and I'm people will
I've
call that
been
a,
I've been that girl.
but like, to me that's like it's either a person who's jealous or it could be a person who, maybe is who it could be anything. It could even be something that's like, my own, my own energy swooping in and saving me from like something. So it's like I don't get offended or upset at these things. These things would have bothered me when I was like in my early 30s and like 20s. But now it's like I would probably like write that off as like, oh, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? So I don't get upset at that kind of stuff. But I think that like girls, look, it's all fun and games. Everybody's doing their best. And I think that like if a girl gives another girl advice, whether it's good advice or not good advice, she's probably given her the best advice she thinks she can give her. So it's like kudos to her, even though she doesn't know anything. Like that makes sense.
You're like, whatever.
Like,
So it gets a little bit under your skin, or it did at some point.
I mean, that whole like thing used to, but like it doesn't anymore. Like it really doesn't. I feel like the more that like and this is just like a general life question or a life answer to a general question. It's like the more that you find fault in things and have a problem with things, the more they repeat themselves until you just are like, my emotions are unaffected by this anymore. So it's like, I had a situation earlier where I hung out with a girl that I met. I thought we were going to hook up. It didn't happen. I didn't give two fucks. No offense. You know, it was fine. I had no expectations. I guess you could say I had a preempted like hope, like, oh, maybe we'll hook up, like, or maybe it'll be something special. And it was just what it was, but it didn't upset me. It didn't make me crazy. It didn't make me feel like I lost out, and I was fine with the outcome, you know, because you never know what's around the corner, like
Absolutely, I believe that.
you
Like
come around,
I think we said it before, everything happens for a reason.
yeah, you could like, remain happy and grateful for everything. And then the next day you meet the love of your life. It's like, you're not going to be upset that you didn't sleep with somebody random the night before. So it's just
But
like, there's no reason to ever get upset at these kind of like mishaps,
but
in
I
my
think
opinion.
well, yeah, but you have a certain maturity and wisdom and you know, so I think you have to get to that place because it would it would piss a guy off. And I get it. Totally get it. And it would happen the same for I think for a female. It could go either way. So,
It, yeah, I suppose it could piss off like somebody who, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's, call it what you want to call it. I don't know. I just think
well,
that it's like,
it's a save. I think it's a save.
yeah.
So, let's say you and a partner get into a fight.
Uh-huh.
What what is the worst thing a woman can do? A, withhold sex. B, the silent treatment. C, nag.
Probably the silent treatment.
Man, I've done that many times. No, let me not say I've done that. I've done it in the past. The past. I've grown a lot. I actually have you I don't know I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but I can't remember who gave me this advice. Don't go to bed mad.
I mean, that's a pretty good advice. I mean, I don't
I
know.
could I can't sleep. I can't sleep. It's I can't go to bed angry. It's
Yeah, no,
really
it's
hard.
hard.
It's hard.
I'm the same way. I can't, like, we need to resolve it. And then
Although I have to say,
I
it
know what I would
also
say. Oh,
depends on uh
go ahead. I,
it
I feel
also
like I know what
depends on the character because there are some people who you kind of need to give them that space so they can reflect and kind of think about things because people have tempers, so I think it depends too. No.
yeah, but but I feel like this is just my thoughts, but I feel like when you're with the right person, you both, something about your energies and like what makes you tick and what makes him tick, or vice versa, like, would render the right results, so you wouldn't, neither of you would go to bed mad, or you would know how to handle each other in such a way where it would be like it would be like, I feel like when two people settle down and they're not the right connection, because I feel like a lot of this happens a lot in society. It's like people meet, they're attracted to each other, they start dating, they get comfortable with each other, but they accept things about each other that don't necessarily cut it for each other. But they're like, in their head, they're like, oh, I don't really like this and it doesn't feel like right, but maybe I'm just an asshole and I need to learn how to accept this. Or maybe I'm just, unrealistic, and, I'm being a baby about this, and let me just chill and like learn how to love this person, regardless. And then, like, all that does, accepting things you don't like, is essentially accepting energy that your body doesn't want, and then it just
Mm.
creates animosity over years, like years and years, like compile animosity. And that's what I think leads to cheaters and fights and like silent treatments and like, big arguments and holes getting punched in walls and whatever the hell you want to call it, you know because like when you're right with somebody, it's like that's your best friend. And it's like, that person makes you better and you make them better. And I just don't think that fights. I feel like it's not so much fights, it's more like maybe a disagreement or a little argument or a scuffle on something, but on a much simpler, easy to handle basis, not like a I'm not talking to you period for like a week. You know what I mean? Like that's just like animosity, and you're just like, I don't really like this person, but the good in me says that I need to be loyal, and we've been together for 5 years, so I'm just gonna
So,
sit in a box until I figure out how to get past this.
it's funny you mentioned that because I literally have the question in my hand. So, there's this show on Netflix called The Ultimatum. And basically, couples go on the show and, one wants to get married, the other one doesn't, or they're not ready, whatever it is. They've been together for years, and the show is literally about giving them that ultimatum. And there are plenty of us out there who have been with a boyfriend, let's say, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 10 years, and she wants the ring, but he refuses to commit with to the marriage, or to a marriage, or the next level of commitment. What do you think about ultimatums? Are they a good idea?
No, ultimatums aren't a good idea.
Even if you've
Ultimate.
been with someone for 10 years?
Well, I mean, like, you think an ultimatum, like if the girl is like, look, we've been together for this long, either marry
Should
me
have
or
got off the
divorce.
pot. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think that's okay. So I just wasn't sure. I
okay.
think that, well, it's the way it's so bad girl, because she's essentially like probably swindled and doesn't realize that the guy's not really into her. He's just guilted into staying with her. He's basically, the best way to say it is, he's like he's guilted himself into sticking around, because like he knows that like on paper she's good, but like in reality she's not good enough. And I think that he sticks with her because, well, because he doesn't want to like bear the guilt that he would feel if he was just like, look, I'm just not really into you enough to want to get married.
But you've
My
been with
option.
the girl 6, 7, 8 years.
Right. But like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying from like a real, like, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, it's like when you have any kind of history with, or any kind of time with somebody, even if they're not the right person, it's not the easiest to just be like, you know what, you don't serve my highest good, beat it. Like, you can't just, you know what I mean?
Cut him
So
off.
like, and at the same time, like, a guy doesn't know what the hell is going on in his own being either. He doesn't know if he's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, in his mind, he might look. All I could say is, I used to be with women when I was younger, and they would be like, I'd be like, damn, I want a girlfriend, but like, and this girl seems to be, she's loyal and she's beautiful and the sex is good, but the idea of just being with her like feels like a prison term. Like, if I was to just completely commit myself to this person, and then I would sit there literally in my own head speculating, and I'd be like, what's wrong with me? Like, why don't I want to be with her? Like you have what you want, essentially. Like, what's the block? Like, why? So then, like, we would like maybe only see each other on the weekend. So like, during the week I would think about her and look forward to seeing her and be excited and be like, why don't you want this girl as your girlfriend? And then I'd see her, and when I'd hang out with her, like, we would end up having sex, and then after we'd have sex, it would be like watching paint dry. Like, we would just be hanging out and like not connecting, and like, I wouldn't find anything she said funny, and I wouldn't laugh, and the way she would laugh would irritate me, like random little things that I would just accept. But like, I would be like, and then it would feel like she would stay the weekend, and then by Sunday, when she would start to head home, when she would leave, I'd be like, God, like,
Damn, sounds
finally,
painful, man.
I don't have this person here that's been bogging me down. So I think that this
Wow.
maybe happens on different scales amongst people. And it's like, I didn't have the balls to just be like, look, like, I don't think we're right for each other, because she was great on paper and there was certain aspects of her that I really did like. And then inside I was like, you're just an asshole. You need to learn how to accept this person and really fully love this person for forever. Love the way they laugh and love all these different things that you naturally normally aren't attracted to. But then that means you're compromising your own light. And I think that this is where the animosity is bred. But like people, so a guy doesn't know any better. He's just kind of like, damn, like I'm just an asshole if I just, cut her off and stop seeing her. And, so he'll in his head probably think like, oh, maybe I'll like learn how to change. And maybe in like couple of months, I'll just be different, or I'll like, grow up a little bit more and I'll just like really love this woman because she's worth loving. But that doesn't happen, because it's like you can't put two energies together that aren't right. It's like putting two, a positive to a positive or a negative to it, just, or a magnet. Like it
You can't
doesn't
force
attract,
it.
can't force it.
Do you,
So
do you think so? I had this guy come on a while ago. He's a comedian, and he told me that guys tend to put women in three buckets. He said they have the ones that, they mess around with and they kind of hang out with. They have the one that's safe, that whenever they call her, she's there. And then they have the one that they marry. Do you think that's true?
I don't think that that's true. I
Okay.
feel like
I'm
there's
glad to
like
hear that.
I feel like maybe there's some truth to like the girls that you just play around with and hang out with, like, and hook up with, that's like very super casual. And then like maybe you have somebody who is a little bit more special than just a casual thing. You've been dating them for like, like multiple months, and you've kind of been in each other's acquaintance for months and months, but it's essentially just like an upgraded version of just like a playful thing. But I don't think that there's three different, like, I feel like it's just like a combination of the two until you meet the one. At least that's what it would be for me. Because there are girls that I've known for years, and every once in a while we hang out, we might hook up, maybe we don't, but it's like the energy is good enough where like neither of us don't like each other. Nobody did anything wrong to the other person. There's no negative drama. You know, it's like kind of live and let live, and just our good energy. And but we're not soulmates, or we're not like in love with each other. And then there's girls where you just meet and maybe have a fling for like one or two or three or four times. But like, I don't know. But I don't see that as, I see like maybe a little bit of both of that, but definitely not like also a wife bucket, where you have a wife and then somebody that's like you always call on, and then somebody that's just like random. I mean, that's just gluttony, it sounds like.
Y everyone's different. I mean, I thought it was an interesting, and I'm sure there's guys that think that way. I thought it was interesting. It's the one they called wifey, the one that they end up, getting married to. I mean, everyone's different, right? Um, I have 2 more questions. Do you have a
Cool.
sister?
I have a half sister, but we don't really know each other.
Okay. So, if
What's up,
you
bud?
had a sister,
Hmm.
what is the best advice you'd give her about men or dating or relationships? Like you're thinking like she's your little sister or your best friend or
I would just steer her away from the emotional aspect of dating. I would say go with the flow. And I would remind her that men, aren't really emotional, they're more visual. you know and that no matter what happens with her and a guy, there's somebody special out there for her. And that also, it's just contrast that, if every guy was Mr. Right, then the special ones would be like no big deal. So it's like, I feel like, and this is another thing, like, a lot of women are out there, and complaining about like all these guys and how they're like done so wrong. But it's like, you know, honestly, like adversity is a blessing, because without adversity, you have no concept of like what you really do love. And not for nothing, but like, for instance, this is totally off topic, but like people who are rich don't really have much adversity and don't have to go through rough times. And suicide is actually a privilege of the higher class because they don't have anything to fight for or struggle for or like look forward to. Whereas like, so like, if my point is this, it's like if every guy she dated was just so good and so perfect and handsome, had the biggest penis, and there was nothing she could say wrong about him, it's like she'd probably like sooner or later want a guy that treated her like shit because she would want to feel something different. So it's like it's kind of like a good
Mm.
have guys that aren't perfect, that wriggle your emotions a little bit so that like you can locate the right one when he shows up and have like a clear cut view and scope of who that is without,
I love that.
so it's like, accept these things. It's just contrast to show you what you really do want.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Vic. That was really good. I've never thought about it that way.
Thank
Um okay, next to this is the next to last question. What does
Sure.
love mean to you?
Love to me means, I guess it means complete unconditional acceptance.
Ooh, damn, that gave me chills. That was good. That's
Yeah,
good. I like that. That was good. Okay, last question. I'm going to give you 6 words, and you're going to tell me the first word or thought that comes to mind. Just don't think about it too much. Romance,
sex. I don't know. That's what came to mind.
marriage,
Um, I house. A house just came to mind.
woman.
Woman. This is
You're gonna
horrible.
say
I'm gonna just say vagina. But like, I don't want nobody to get the wrong impression of me.
this is the goal. Relationship. Don't say
Um,
jail.
no, I wasn't gonna say jail. I was gonna. I guess the word that came to mind was commitment.
Okay. Love.
Uh, all that is.
Oh, damn. And sex.
Yes, please.
Vic, I'm blushing. You have been such an awesome sport. Thank you so much for just being so open, so honest, and like straightforward. I had a blast. Thank you
Good.
very, very much.
Same here. I appreciate it. And thank you.
And thank you guys for joining me on another episode of 20 Questions with AW. I'll talk to you soon.